Hello everyone, let's go through the easy LeetCode problem on finding the indices of the two array members that must result in a chosen number when being added in Java. While going through it, I will try my best to explain the thought process, so this may help you in your future tasks. Let's read the problem. Given an array of integers nums and an integer target, return the indices of the two numbers such that they add up to a target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution, and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. Let's take the first example and look at it to understand the task. The target is 9, so we need to find two numbers that when added result in this number. For this case, these are the first two numbers. But numbers themselves are not the answer, because we need to return their indices instead. Since array indices start with a 0, the first two elements indices are 0 and 1, which is the correct answer. The simplest method of finding this answer would be to iterate through the array and subtract each element from the target. Then we take the result of the subtraction and look for it in an array by going through the array again. If we find an element that equals the subtraction result, then we have found our needed numbers. Now imagine that the first element subtraction was already searched and turns out it's not the answer. Do we need to check the first element again while the second element subtraction is being searched for? The answer is obviously no. This first number was already checked, because the order of sums elements doesn't matter. So we can safely skip checks with previous numbers in an array. Let's look at the code. This code is simple. We go through each element one by one, we get the subtraction result, and we go through the remaining array. We go through the remaining array because, as I said earlier, previous elements were already checked with the current element. Eventually, we find our needed element and return the result. Once we find the result, we can end our method execution, because as the task explains, we may assume that each input would have exactly one solution. Let's check the results. My case is pass, but the speed is not the best, since we go through parts of an array multiple times, even if we avoid needless rechecks. How can we improve it? One nice little thing we can change that will improve the result drastically is to remember all the subtraction results and indices in a good optimized place, a hash map for example. This map would hold the number and its position in an array. We go through an array in a different but a much better way. We use the number's subtraction result to search the map's keys. If it's there, then we immediately receive the index of the other part of the sum. Let's check the code for this algorithm. We create the map that will hold this data. The map's key is the number. That's what we would be looking for. The value of this map is its position. When we go through the array, we subtract elements from the target and look for it in our map. Simple as that. If we don't find it, then we put it into our map for future checks. From the example 1, the first element of an array, number 2, has the subtraction result of 7, which is not in the map, but we put number 2 as the key and position 0 as the value. Then, when we get to 7, we don't look for 7, but look for a subtraction result of 2, which is in the map, and it also has a needed index of 0 as the value. Let's check the results. The speed is much better. We jumped from more than 30 milliseconds to about 2. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep making more content like this. Thanks for watching.